guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video, we're going to talk about everything foundations. We have a lot of foundations to go through. We're going to talk about my best foundations in my collection and also my worst foundations in my collection. So without further ado, let's begin. So I've categorized this video in 4 parts. First, we'll talk about the light coverage foundation, then the medium coverage foundations, then the high coverage foundation, and then finally the powder foundations that we have in the collection. So let's begin with the light coverage foundations. Now, to talk about a few of my favorite foundations on the lighter coverage side, I have to mention this Essence Pretty Natural Hydrating Foundation, and in this I am in the shade Neutral Cashmere, and this is like my actual shade. I am a little more on the tanner side right now, so I would say this would run a little more on the lighter side right now if you consider. So I would up a shade if you're looking for this foundation. But again, this has a hyaluronic acid in it. It is really good for like dry skin type too. Just for a reference, I am more of like a combo to oily skin type person, especially in the summer months. I'm more of a normal skin type person when I get to that cooler months. But yes, my first recommendation would definitely be the Essence Pretty Natural Foundation. I really think if you're looking for like a drugstore foundation, you would really love this. I've actually really loved this in the summer months and I would highly recommend this. Let's talk about another drugstore foundation which I cannot stop wearing. And I won't say this is like a light coverage foundation. You can truly build it up to a medium coverage. And this has been like a go-to foundation for me this year, I would say. And I'm talking about the L'Oreal True Match Nude foundation, and in this I am in the shade 5 to 6 medium tan, and this is my tan shade. This is what I wear day in and day out for months now, and I cannot tell you how much I love this. I love that it's more of a serum texture. It's very lightweight on the skin. You can again build it up to a medium coverage. It just diminishes everything on your skin. It exactly feels like skin, but it covers everything. I absolutely have loved this formula and I cannot recommend this enough. Let's talk about a foundation stick. Again, it gives more of a light to medium coverage on the skin, but it is travel friendly because it's in a stick format, and its formula is really amazing. And I'm talking about the Merit's Minimalist foundation stick. In this, I am in the shade Buff, and this blends beautifully. I love the packaging, how compact it is, how luxurious it feels. It's absolutely lovely. You can retract the formula and you can go back to, you know what I mean, right? It is absolutely stunning formula. So if you're in the market for a foundation stick, I would highly recommend this. Now, last, certainly not least, in this category, one of the best foundations that I have come across is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer Long Wear Makeup, and this has an SPF of 19 in it. This is a little more on the lighter side, and in this I have the shade 3W1 Tawny, so I would definitely go up shade for this, but the formula is what I'm talking about. Both of these feel very similar to the skin. So when I mix both of these, it gets to my skin tone. But I would say if you want to purchase this, you will definitely not be disappointed. I love that it is so lightweight. It definitely gives like a light coverage on the skin. So I would highly recommend this, because when I'm looking for a light coverage foundation, I really want it to like cover up my redness, cover up my acne marks on the skin, but also feel like skin, and for that reason this is absolutely stunning. Now let's talk about two of the formulas which I'm not a big fan of, and I might be odd one out in the beauty community who does not like this, and I'm talking about the Misha BB cream. This, for my combo oily skin tone, I don't like this. I don't like this. Towards the end of the day, it does feel greasy. It feels like something is sitting on my skin, and I don't like the effect when I'm wearing like a BB or a CC cream to feel like foundation is sitting on my skin. I've never liked my skin when I'm wearing this foundation, but it does have an SPF of 42 in it. But I know a lot of YouTubers who absolutely love this formula. So I don't know what to say. I can only talk about my skin, and I am not a big fan of this, so I won't recommend this. The next foundation that I'm going to talk about is the Makeup Forever's Water Tone Foundation, and in this I am in the shade Y455, and this has been, it's very sheer. Like, it's super sheer. If you have like perfected skin, you might like it. When I had a lot of bumps on my skin, I never used to reach out for this because this feels like you're applying water with like a hint of tint in it, and that's how sheer it is. So if you are a person who has perfected skin, you might really like it because it feels very lightweight on the skin and almost like water. I think that's why the name water tone came. But if you are a person who has like a bump and textures and a lot to cover, I don't think I would recommend this to you. So yes, for that reason, I'm going to put it in my bottom list for the light coverage foundations. Okay, now let's talk about powder foundations. In the powder foundation category, I just have 3 to talk about, and all 3 of them work wonderfully. So let's first talk about the powder foundation, which I'm absolutely in love with. And that is my L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This is how it looks. I use this so much, and I'm in the shade Radiant Honey. And this works beautifully. You can use this as a setting powder. You can use this alone as a foundation. You can just buff it out with like a dense brush, and that gives you flawless coverage. I personally feel even dry skin tone people can also use all these powder foundation that I'm talking about because it's super creamy on the skin. So it won't emphasize any dry texture because I have a lot of bumps and acne. So if I apply powder foundation and it just smoothens out that, I know that's not going to patch up. Otherwise, there are foundations here which patch on to the dry patches of my acne. And I don't like this, and these products do not do that. So the first recommendation would be the L'Oreal one. The second drugstore option that I want to talk about is the e.l.f. powder foundation. This is the e.l.f. Camo CC cream, and this one I am in the shade medium 330W warm. Now I would say this is definitely more of a warm tone. I don't know if you can see it or not against my skin tone. It's definitely more of a yellow powder. And I think shade range is a problem in this product. Can I make it work? Yes. If I dust it all over my face with a loose powder brush, you won't even come to know that I'm wearing such a warm powder. But if I'm buffing this alone on my skin as a foundation, you would be able to tell that this is yellow on my skin. But saying about the formula, I really love this. It just blends out, it blurs out any texture on the skin, and it perfects the skin like no other. So I would highly recommend this. The only thing that I would say is if you can find your shade, then it'll work out beautifully. Again, if you are around my skin tone but on a warmer spectrum, I think 330W would work out beautifully. But I think if I go up a shade, it's going to be too deep for me. I'm more of a on the neutral skin tone person, so this is a hint warm on me. Okay, let's talk about a high-end powder foundation which I have absolutely loved, and this is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro foundation, and this one I am in the shade medium 35 cool. This I absolutely love to wear underneath my eyes, again because it has that rosy undertone in that powder. It really helps to just perfect underneath the eyes, and I love to apply a cooler undertone of a powder underneath my eyes so that it gives a little more of like a youthful look. And for that reason, I really love it. I love the powder's texture also. It's very finely milled, and it just blurs out everything. So even if you wear this alone as a powder foundation, this would be lovely. And I've worn this like multiple times, mainly in the winter months, I would say, because I tend to be like super neutral that time, and this can work beautifully that time for me. Okay, now let's talk about medium coverage category. This is the category where I have a lot of foundation, where I test a lot of foundation, and this is like my comfort zone, where it is from like a medium buildable coverage. Let's talk about the foundation that I'm absolutely loving. Let's talk about the foundation that I'm wearing today, and this is from Wet n Wild, and this is the Tinted Perfector foundation. And in this, I am in the shade Tan Medium Deep. And this is the foundation that I'm wearing today. You can see how much coverage it gives. Even though it is like a medium coverage product, it is definitely buildable too. So I have absolutely loved this. This has hyaluronic acid in it as well as squalene in it. This is one of the tinted BBCC creams that I really love from my collection. So I would highly recommend this. And this is like what, under $5, $6, something like that. Love it. Okay, let's talk about a high-end formula which absolutely dupes this, or I would say this is an absolute dupe for this product, and this is the Fenty Eavesdrop. This is another product which I've absolutely loved, and I continuously apply this. In this, I am in the shade 11. And again, it's a very lightweight formula, very serum-like formula. I love that it is in like a dropper format. It easily travels. The foundation is absolutely stunning. Again, it is more of a medium buildable coverage foundation, and I would highly recommend this. And I think this is like under $30. And I will put the price of all these products on the screen for you guys because I cannot remember all the prices on the top of my head, but I'll put it on the screen for you guys so that you can like compare and see which one you prefer and which one you don't. But I would say out of the Fenty Beauty whole line of foundations, this has definitely been my favorite so far. So I would highly recommend this. Okay, let's talk about another drugstore formula, which I have loved for years. And I have backups and backups of this, which you should not have because I have a lot of foundation to go through, but this is such a beautiful foundation to have with you. And this is from Wet n Wild. And this is their Photo Focus Dewy Foundation. And in this, I am in the shade Desert Beige. It's such an awesome powder. There was a time in my life where I used to only wear this. And I still can do that all the time. I think I should keep this like out because this has definitely been my favorite for years now. Right now, I am in that phase where I'm using a lot of like that L'Oreal True Match Nude foundation. I think if I keep this out, this would be absolutely stunning. This shade specifically is more of that neutral tone, and I have loved this for years and I cannot recommend this enough. The next product that I have to talk about again is from Drugstore. Drugstore has some bomb formulas. I don't know why do you want to spend like high-end prices on these foundations because these are absolutely amazing. I've mentioned this like in a recent video of mine. I've absolutely loved Believe Beauty foundation. This performs like a high-end foundation, and in this, I am in the shade Toffee. Again, a medium buildable formula. That's what we're talking about. But the formula, the packaging, the way it applies on the skin, the way it sets on the face, the way it wears throughout the day is absolutely spectacular. If you want like a lightweight product to give a good amount of coverage and that wears stunningly throughout the day, you need to have Believe Beauty in your collection and you will not regret it at all. Again, this is a product which is like under $5 and I've loved it ever since. Love it. Let's talk about a high-end formula, which also I'm a big fan of, and this is the LYS Beauty Triple Fix Foundation. Now, I would say this is more of like a gel consistency. It's a very unlike formula that I have in my collection. So you would need like a very tiny little bit, but you need to buff it into your skin to make it look like seamless. But this wears beautifully throughout the day. It is long wearing, long lasting, and it is stunning on the face. So I would highly recommend this. I've loved a lot of products from LYS Beauty and this is definitely one of my favorites. Okay, let's talk about another foundation which I have like a sample version of. But let's say if I do not have any of the high-end foundations and I have to pick one foundation in my collection, I would pick this. And this is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. And in this, I am in the shade Syracuse. And this has worked so beautifully on my skin. This is the tiny one that I travel with whenever I'm like going traveling. And I have loved this formula so very much. I'll put a picture on the screen how the actual bottle looks, because you need to see that. And I have worn this like 4 or 5 times. Loved the formula, like absolutely loved the formula. Would highly recommend this. Of course, this is like more of a high-end price range, but I would say so worth it. Like I would say if you want to find like a dupe for that NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, I would say the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in Dewy is very similar to that. Okay, now let's talk about a foundation which again, it's a little more pricier than your actual drugstore prices, but the formula is absolutely stunning. And this is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. Flower Beauty, you can find it in Ulta as well as in flowerbeauty.com. And this formula is absolutely lovely. In this, I am in the shade Classic Tan M3. And this has worked wonders on my skin. I feel like this product definitely has like skincare benefits. That's how it feels on the skin. Very lightweight, good medium buildable coverage, and it works lovely, like absolutely works lovely throughout the day. You know, the foundation that looks really good in the initial part of the initial like few hours, and then it start looking dry or like cakey. This doesn't do that, and I love this from I love this formula. Again, Flower Beauty is a brand that I feel like that has given us some great products from their line, and their complexion products stands out beautifully for me, and this is definitely one of the good products that they have with them. Okay, now we have a bunch of drugstore products from the same category, which I've loved. These two products actually from drugstore have worked like very similar for me. This is Profusion's Feel Good Skin Long Wearing Skin Perfector with hyaluronic acid in it. Again, this is a medium to buildable coverage formula. Very lightweight. I'm repeating at this point, I know, but this again has worked wonderfully. I'll link the video that I've used this in action in the eye cards above so that you can see it in action, and I have loved it. Again, this is cruelty free, vegan, most of them are. And I have loved it ever since. Again, this one, I am in the shade Tan 5, which is warm yellow, and this is a little more on the yellow side. So if you're more of a neutral skin tone like me, I would say go with another shade. This definitely bends a little more on the yellow side. Very similar to the Profusion one. We're going to talk about the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover. Full coverage foundation. It says full coverage. I would deny that. I would say it's more of a medium coverage foundation. And this one again has SPF in it. That's the high point of this. This has an SPF of 50 in it. And in this, I am in the shade 310 Sun Beige, and this matches me perfectly, like absolutely perfectly. It has a more of a neutral undertone. It's lightweight, very serum-like on the face. So it feels super lightweight, I would say. And I've loved it. I've loved it ever since. I love that this is more on the squeezy bottle side, and I love it. It very much reminds me of that Fenty Eavesdrop in the formula that the product is in, and I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. The last product in this category in the good side, I would say, is the L'Oreal Infallible Foundation, and in this I am in the shade 485 Golden Sun. I have repurchased this foundation so many times, and that's how much I love this. Like, I cannot rave more about it. This is like my glam foundation. If I have to go for an occasion where I have to like do my foolproof makeup and I have to look lovely throughout the day, and I want my makeup to last for like 8 to 10 hours, I just go for this, because I know that this is not going to go anywhere from my skin, and I've absolutely loved this product. This is like my actual shade, I would say. And this again has a sunscreen SPF of 25 in it. It doesn't have any like white cast when you're doing flash photography or anything like that. I have absolutely loved this foundation, and I would highly recommend this to any skin type, I would say. Absolutely, like A+++ for this foundation. Now let's talk about foundations in the medium coverage category, which I'm not a big fan of. I'm going to quickly run over it because all of them do the same thing. It wears initially very nicely on the skin, but throughout the day it doesn't wear well. After like 5 to 6 hours, I would say, my oils start peeking through, from especially in my like T-zone, and I do not like that. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is the Bare Minerals Original Liquid Mineral Foundation. This is how it looks. Again, not a big fan of, would not recommend this. The second foundation, I am seeing like my foundation, I have 4 in my category and all of them are high-end. The second one that I'm going to talk about, actually both of them I'm going to talk together. This is the Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation, and I have not been a fan of. I don't like the way it sits on my skin. So for that reason, I'm not going to recommend this. I've done like a dedicated video reviewing this product. It's okay. The shade range is beautiful. It seems on the paper it looks beautiful because it's like 40 shade ranges or anything like that. This is the shade Tan Golden. Does not work for me. I look like a Casper when I wear this. I would not recommend this. If you really want to test this foundation up, I would say just go up like 5-6 shades. You might just find your tone. The last foundation that I'm going to talk about in this category is again a foundation stick, and this is the Milk Makeup Foundation Stick. This just breaks me out so much, I do not know. I think this just clogs my pores so badly. The shade works very nicely. I am in the shade Medium Beige, and it works really nice on my skin tone. But as soon as I wear this, the next day I break out. Like, I just break out with so many pimples, and yeah, not worth it for me. Like, it just clogs my pores. Absolutely not worth it. It sits very heavy on my skin. Would not recommend this. Okay, now let's move on to full coverage products. Some of the products that I absolutely love and some not a big fan of. Let's start off with the She Glam Skinfluencer foundation, and this is their Skinfluencer full coverage foundation. In this, I am in the shade Wheat. Again, this is more of like a balm formula, but it gives like flawless finish on the skin. I'm a big fan of this, and I would highly recommend this. I love so many things about this foundation. It exactly gives like what date it's going to expire from the manufacturing date and the expiration date, and I love everything about it. The only thing that I think it's missing is if it had like that Danessa scoop with this. I think it can be more like hygienic, but yeah, not that I'm concerned about because I just dip my brush and I apply it. Yeah, I know. Okay. The next product that I have to talk about, it works beautifully, but it is a wrong shade for me. And this is from Hailey's Beauty, and this is their Reset Liquid Foundation. And in this, I am in the shade 6.5 Warm. Again, this is super yellow for me, and I think this is my mistake. There was not enough shades available at the time when I like ordered it, and that's why I chose this shade. But yeah, I knew when I was like getting into it that it's going to be yellow because it clearly says warm. But I would just say, just go with another shade. But the formula is absolutely amazing, and it gives full coverage. Like it just feels flawless on your skin, and I would highly recommend this. And the packaging, like it's so sleek. Love it. Okay, let's talk about a foundation which has like the highest coverage in my collection, and I'm going to talk about my Danessa Vision Cream Cover Foundation. And in this, I am in the shade N06, which is neutral. This has saved my days when I had so much breakouts going on in my skin, and when I had to cover up my acne scars. I just used to spot conceal this with this foundation, and you need the tiniest little bit. I've mentioned this like quite a few times on my channel. You can apply this with your moisturizer, but you need a slightest bit. When I say slightest bit, do not even think like 1 drop, because that's too much. I would say half a drop is good for your entire face, and that's why this would last you for a long time in your collection, and that's why this bottle is like so tiny. But you would be impressed. I was absolutely blown away by the coverage and the way it blends onto your skin. It's absolutely amazing. I need to do a video, like a get ready with me using this product, and you'll see how much I love it. Like absolutely love this product. Okay, next two foundations are also absolute favorite in my collection. Actually, both of them are very like office buddies for me. These just go with me whenever I'm going for work. One is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Foundation. Absolutely love this one, and in this I am in the shade medium dark 120W. This is my tan shade. Yeah, I'm definitely like more than half done for this foundation. Again, a very glam foundation, I would say, that does not feel heavy on the skin but covers everything. Would highly recommend this. If you are in a market, especially in ColourPop's website, try this foundation and thank me later. The last foundation that I have to talk about is the Catrice True Skin Foundation. Again, I know a lot of people have been talking, and it started with Tati loving this product, and that's how I purchased this, and I have ever since loved this foundation. This is hyaluronic acid in it, so it's more of like a glowy foundation with more of a full coverage formula, and I have loved this. Even though I am more of a combo oily skin type, there are days when I really want to look glowy, and this really helps me on those days, and I love this. In this, I am in the shade 046 Neutral Toffee, and I love this. Cannot recommend this enough again. Now let's talk about the two formulas which I'm not a big fan of, and these are the last two formulas that I'm going to talk about. Both of them almost perform very similarly on my skin, and that is the reason why I do not like it. When I'm applying it feels like it's gonna blur out the skin because it has so much coverage, but it doesn't sink into the skin nicely. It feels like the foundation is sitting on top of the skin, and it emphasizes every dry patch on the skin. If you are a dry skin person, stay away from this. One is a high-end product and one is the drugstore product, but both not worked on my skin type, so I would not recommend this. One is the e.l.f. Camo CC foundation, and the other one is One Size Beauty Turn Up the Base BBB Cream. In this, I am in the shade medium 330W, and in the One Size one, I am in the shade medium 3G, which is medium for golden undertones. Both of them, the same thing. Like it feels like more of a thicker foundation on the skin when I'm applying it. I would say even if you want to test this out with a sponge. That would be the way to go, because whenever I've applied this with a brush, I've not liked the application, and I am a brush person. But when I'm going with this, I definitely make a point that I'm using a sponge, because then I can make it wearable. But otherwise, it's super difficult to work with this. So that's all the foundations that I wanted to talk about with you guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and this video was helpful for you guys. Let me know in the comment section below which is like your ride or die foundations that you use and you cannot go without. But yes, you know what to do. Definitely like this video, do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Oh, for the people who want to ask what's on my eyes, I basically have Blend Bunny Cosmetics Primal Palette as the purple that you're seeing here. And the green thing that you see is from Sugar Drizzle MILF Palette, and the shade that I use is Camouflage. That's all. Thank you.